Thanks for coming. How you doing? Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. How are you? Good. Thanks for coming. How are you? Hey, man. Thanks for coming. Hey, thanks for coming. Yeah. Good to see you. How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming. How are you, sir? Thanks for coming. Thanks. Hey, man. Thank you, sir. You too. I know I've seen you before. Thank you. How are you? Hey, how are you? Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Hey, sir. How are you? Thanks for coming. I'm Eric. Thanks. How are you? Eric. Thank you for coming. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thanks, Samantha. How are you? Thanks so much. That was beautiful. Thank you. How you guys doing? Hi. Welcome. How you doing? Good. Eric, sir. Nice to meet you. How are you? Go Bears. Eric, how are you? Thanks for coming. How are you guys doing? Thank you. How are you? Eric, thank you. How are you guys doing? Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Can you raise your right hand if this president's attacks on our state have put it in trouble? Keep that hand up and raise your left hand if it's the most trouble you've ever seen in your life. That's why I'm running for governor. That's why, right there. We deserve better. We are better. We say to everyone, we are the 4th largest economy in the world. But what does that mean if we can't afford to live here? And what does that mean if the people who work here are running through the fields where they work scared and terrorized by ICE agents? Yeah. We're not going to let that happen anymore. I also want to start tonight by honoring 2 great Californians. 2 great Californians who we lost last night. Michelle and Rob Reiner not only contributed to the arts and the heartbeat of California, distributing the films we grew up loving. When I first met Rob and Michelle and I was in their office and I saw all the movie posters of the films they had made, I looked at the Few Good Men poster and I said, I went to law school in part because of that movie. And then I saw the American President poster and I said, I went into public service in part because of that movie. And many of us can say to our partners, we fell in love with each other because of that movie, When Harry Met Sally. But today, as I was in Pittsburgh, a couple hours up north, I was spending the morning with a child care provider through the United Domestic Workers Program. They want you to go out and see how hard these people work. And as we were doing our stops and picking up kids and taking them back to the child care facility, it occurred to me that this was scheduled 2 weeks ago. But part of this program depends on the first 5 initiative that Rob and Michelle had helped pass by passing Proposition 10 and getting a tobacco tax to take care of our children in their first 5 years. I'm equally disgusted by what our Commander-in-Chief has said about this tragedy. It's bad enough that he's taken away our ability to pay for groceries, but he's also taking away, or trying to take away, our humanity. And we find ourselves in this position where the most evil person in the world also happens to be the most powerful person in the world.
That's right.
And to that I say, we are better than that. Californians are better than that. And Michelle and Rob deserve from their leader better than that. So a tribute tonight to them. I'm running for governor because the next governor of this state has 2 jobs. One, to keep this president out of our homes, streets, and lives. And two, to write the story of a new California where we bring down the costs and lift up wages, where we expand affordable housing and economic development. We increase the number of small businesses because right now we have the highest unemployment in America and the slowest percentage of new small businesses that are kicking off. And that we modernize the way we deliver services in this state. I'm going to take your questions in a moment, and you have seen in the process you've participated in, I don't screen the questions. Anyone can ask a question. I love the idea of our elected officials being in the round and an ask me anything completely accessible style. That's my style. And that's my promise to you that it doesn't just start on the campaign trail. It goes through my term as governor. I will be accessible and accountable and will make sure that I deliver results, and if I'm not meeting those expectations, you have direct access to me. That's the way it should be for every leader in our community. And I want to thank the leaders of our community who've shown up here today. And we have a lot of them. From the Fresno City Council, Nelson Esparza, Mike Carbasi, Miguel Arias. Chairman of the Fresno Democrats, Ruben Zarate. Thank you, my friend. City Council candidate and activist, Nav Gurm. Thanks, Nav. Trustee for the State Community College, Magdalena Gomez. Former Supervisor, Henry Perea. I also want to thank Rob Fuentes, also a trustee. Vincent Quintana, our trumpeter today. That was beautiful. India, who's the president of the Fresno Young Dems. Leslie from the College Dems. You're going to see Leslie in a moment. Isaac Godino, who helped us kick this off with the raffle ticketing from the California Democratic Party, our regional director. And of course, my friend, Samantha Leone. And so I bring this candidacy to you not just as somebody who has been a fighter protector in the last 10 years in the Russia investigations with Adam Schiff, as an impeachment manager that Speaker Pelosi asked me to be a part of, and the only lawsuit that has survived this new presidency as I've joined with the January 6 officers to hold this president accountable. I speak this guy's language. I know you have to be on offense. It's the only side of the ball you can be on when you're defending vulnerable Californians. But I also promise you, I do not wake up every day seeking to fight Donald Trump. I will wake up every day seeking to fight for Californians. He just gets in the way. And when he gets in the way, I will go through him, and I will never let him go through me, because I know with me is you. That's my promise to you. So with that, I think we have our first 5 questioners on both sides here. So if you want to line up, I'm going to do 2 at a time. We'll just go back and forth, and then we'll do another round after that. So do you want to line them up behind? I think we're going to get a couple behind you. And I'll go with you first when you get yeah. Can I also thank the Fresno Police Department for helping us here tonight? Please, go ahead.
How do you
That's good.
How do you plan to improve the accessibility to higher education for specifically low-class families and troubled students?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I'm going to come back to you in 1 second. I'm going to take this one. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. My name's Randy, and my wife is, oops, I'm sorry. Back here. Okay.
Hi, my wife.
We're
Marge.
We've been married like 46
Yeah.
years. And when she goes out and about in the town, I find myself wondering if she's going to come back.
Yeah.
When I go, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't come back, will I hear from her again? And if so, when and where is she going to call from?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you have in place or future for so people won't have to worry about that in California?
Yeah. You have to feel safe in your community before we can do anything else. And the leaders here know that if we do not fund our police and fire, if we don't have a court system that holds people accountable, that businesses won't invest, that home buyers will not exist, that the property taxes that collect will go down, and the schools will erode. So public safety to me is everything. And I say that as the son of a cop, as a brother to 2 cops, one who married another cop, and somebody who worked for 7 years as a prosecutor in Oakland. And also somebody who, in the last election, was one of the only Democrats in the state who supported Proposition 36 that addressed the out-of-control retail theft crime. Because I happen to believe that you work too hard when you get up in the morning to go to CVS or Walgreens and push a button to get deodorant behind a piece of plastic. We don't deserve to live that way, and that means having local law enforcement resources and accountability. So what I will do as the federal government continues to take away funding is to prioritize people feeling safe, but also to believe that every one of us is worthy of redemption and mercy, and that where we can invest in people to never reoffend or recommit, that we should. But priority number 1 for me as governor is public safety for the people who live in our state. And I want Marge to come home every night, and I want you to know, without worrying about it, whether she'll come home every night. Do you have a follow-up on that, sir?
Yes, I'm mainly concerned with federalization of troops, of National Guard, of police, of the militia that is currently running around under Christian Hall.
You know what? The local law enforcement, they're not asking for that. They're saying invest in us, invest in our training, give us more people who know the community. Don't disgrace the service of our men and women in uniform who are trained to serve abroad and defend us abroad, and have them at war with people in our own community. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that. And also, by the way, sending people into our community as masked agents who are not identified. Right now, if you're a woman, it feels like anybody wearing a mask without identification, whether they are real or not, could just sweep you up and you can't do anything about it. And I'm going to be a governor who's going to make sure we invest in local law enforcement. We're going to prioritize the word local. We don't need the feds here. But I'm also going to make sure that we enforce the law. And I can also promise you, in a new majority in Congress, and we're going to get to that in a second, the masks are coming off and the IDs are coming out. Yeah, thank you. So I understand your question about higher education, and I say that as the first in my family to go to college. And if I'm being honest with you, it was not on an academic scholarship. It was on an athletic scholarship, but that was the only path. And I didn't have, from my hardworking parents, my dad, who I said was a cop, and my mom, who worked a number of odd jobs, I didn't have institutionally structure anywhere in our family to show me how to do that. So I had to rely on other friends of mine who were on their way themselves. And from that, I carried this kind of chip on my shoulder that it shouldn't be so hard if this is what you want to do, and that the responsibility of leaders in the community, from the governor to those locally elected, is to have the resources to make sure any kid who wants to work hard enough, put in the time, the sweat equity to get to college, should have a path to college. And so to me, that means not necessarily creating a new government program, but going to the existing infrastructure that's already in place, whether it's our faith-based community, whether it's the nonprofit community, finding those who are already doing the work and surge the resources to them because they're most directly connected to you. Did you go to college?
I'm a high school student.
Okay. What year are you?
I'm a freshman.
You're a freshman. Okay. Well, I'm impressed that you're already thinking about this. My advice to you that I learned is you have two hands. So use one for the next 6 to 8 years to reach up, find as many mentors as possible. My job as governor is to make sure that we have as many mentors as possible in the community who you can reach up to. So use that first hand to reach up. Then, once you get the skills, the training, the experience, remember that you have another hand, and your job is to reach down and to lift up as many people around you, because you're going to find that fulfilling, but it's also, I think, our community responsibility to keep reaching down and lifting other people up. So you focus on using both hands. I will focus on making sure we have the resources in our community, but the fact that it's happened so early for you, I think that's a good thing. My job is to make sure that every freshman is thinking about that, and it's not anxiety, it's excitement, because there's so much opportunity around for you to look out to. So thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Welcome.
Eric, I wanted to first thank you for the work you've done to call out Trump.
Yeah.
We all appreciate
Thank you.
it. And now to also focus on the needs of California.
Yes.
So it sounds like that will be the focus of your campaign.
It will be, yes.
And my one question is, we're all really bothered by the cruelty we see with these ICE agents.
Yeah.
What realistically could be done in a short period of time to stop some of these cruel activities? What can be done?
Yeah.
Is there something before you even get into office?
There's a lot that can be done. Let me speak to that in a second. I'm going to take our next question, but we can't do enough is the answer. Yeah. Go ahead.
As I'm sure you know, Trump has denied California federal aid because we're a blue state. How do we change that? How can we use our status as a donor state to change that? Not that that should matter, but he's been denying blue states coverage that he's giving to red states.
The next governor, and what was your name?
Sandy.
Sandy pointed this out. The next governor obviously has to focus on taking on the president who has declared war on us. And I'm not being facetious. People are running through the car washes where they work, the Home Depot lots where they hope to find work, the farm fields, where they gather the food that goes on our table. There are troops in the streets. And cancer research funding that we all depend on up and down the state at our research universities has been canceled. So this is an all-out assault on our state. So the next governor in the last 2 years of the Trump administration, which is the first 2 years of the next governor, as I said, you have to defend the interests of the state. At our best, we are a tech, biotech, agricultural, television and film economic engine. And that's why we can make that flex about being the 4th largest economy in the world. But you have to protect and defend that. What I will do immediately, and I tell you this, I'm not taking for granted that this race will be over in June, but if I am the one Democrat that comes out of this race in June, I am going to immediately start focusing on standing up the best team that can lead the state. Of course, not taking for granted running against a Republican in November, but immediately putting a team in place to lead the state. But also I'm creating a California ambassador program, and I'm going to ask the best in the private sector and the public sector to go across the world to seek investment in a California research fund. I hate that I have to do that, because you should be able to count on the federal government to invest in California. But we will go to Asia, we will go to the Gulf, we will go to Europe, we'll go to the capital markets of the world and tell people, if you bet on Californians, you'll get a return on your investment, and Californians will see lower energy costs, lower healthcare costs, and more care and a better hope for cures. So that's the kind of inventiveness I'm going to bring. And this is not just me Googling who is the foreign leader of these places. For 8 years, I chaired the committee that oversaw the CIA. I went to almost 40 capitals across the world and met with kings and prime ministers and presidents and foreign ministers. I've kept those relationships, and those relationships are your relationships. And I will make sure that we make that case with the best and brightest, sending them out there to seek investment back into California. So Sandy, what I admire about our current governor, and by the way, there's a lot to admire about our current governor. What he does that I appreciate is I call it show, not tell. What is tell? Tell is sending an 8-page, strongly worded letter to the president when he does something you don't like. Chuck Schumer is really good at tell. He's got tell locked down. Governor Newsom is really good at show. He goes to the courts and he shows the president that the courts are not with him. He goes to the voters, as we did with Prop 50, and we showed Texas and the president that don't poke the bear. So the way I see it is that right now, the attorneys general right now of every state have law enforcement abilities. And if people are coming into our community and committing assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, battery, you have to hold them accountable. You have to hold them accountable. And the second you do, I promise you, that's it. That ends those types of tactics. And that's why I also believe when the masks come off, you're going to see fewer ICE agents who want to go out with their faces shown, doing what they're being asked to do. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do that. And by the way, no other law enforcement agency, the FBI, the DEA, local law enforcement, no agency routinely goes around a community with a mask and unidentified. They only do that in the most dangerous environments, not as a routine matter that leaves so many people like Marge and her husband terrorized by what they're doing. So there's a lot we can do now, but as I said, as governor and working with Speaker Jeffries and a Democratic majority, we're going to make sure that accountability comes. And in the new Congress, by the way, they should be saying this every single day. And I also just want to give a shout out to your local member of Congress, Jim Costa, somebody who I've served with. And I know his staff is also here. But we have to telegraph now what a majority is going to look like in Congress. And here's why. We may not go back in time and undo some of the drug deals that universities have struck with this president, or that law firms have struck with this president, or that entertainment companies have struck with this president. But if you make it clear that if you do a dirty deal and you break the law, but you do it because you think you'll get away with it, that you're going to become very familiar with Chairman Jamie Raskin and Chairman Robert Garcia, and that you're spending a lot of time in the Judiciary and Oversight Committee, because you may not undo the deals of the past, but you might deter somebody right now who's looking at the math and looking at what just happened last November, or this past November, in Texas, or in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, California. They might be able to do math. And they might recognize, as you said, in Florida, that it's all going to come out. That it's all going to come out. So we have to be clear right now. It's all going to come out. So yes, there's a lot we can do right now. And I promise you, and I tell my wife this all the time, we are going to look back at this moment in time, maybe even 5-10 years from now, and not a single one of us is going to say, was I too hard on him? We're always going to ask, did we do enough?
My name is Shelley.
Hi, Shelley.
And I want to thank you first for throwing that in the ring for the governor's race.
Yeah.
You have my vote.
Thank you, Shelley.
I do have a question about what's happening in Washington.
Yeah.
This last year has been horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if this country can survive another
Yeah.
3 years of this. I would like to know if there are any conversations going on privately,
Yeah.
because I haven't heard anything publicly,
Yeah.
about the work that Election Truth Alliance is doing
Yeah.
as far as the anomalies in
Yep.
the swing states.
Yep.
Are there any conversations? I've only heard one
Yeah.
mainstream media journalist talking about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I'm going to get to that in a second, Shelley. You take the next one, sir. What's your name?
My name is Mark.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
There's a group of us who stand out on the corner of a busy street in front of Vince Fong's office.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for doing that.
Eric asked him to do a basic part of his job, which is to meet with his constituents. We've been there for several months. Every other Tuesday we're out there.
Yeah.
And we've yet to receive any meeting with
Yeah.
him. So first, I'd like to thank you for having the decency to meet the bare minimum standard to get my vote.
Yeah.
Which is
Show up.
come out here
Yeah.
and meet with the people
Yeah.
and speak to them face to face.
Yeah.
Another thing which is essential in order to earn my vote
Yeah.
is to know where you plan to receive your campaign funds.
Yeah.
So I would like you to address that.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm proud that we have nearly 7,000 individuals who have contributed to the campaign, primarily, from Californians. I come from a working class family, and those are my values, and I believe that this campaign is aimed at people who believe if you work your ass off, if you get up early, and you do the hard work, you have a right in California to expect better for yourself and dream bigger for your kids. And so that's who I speak to, and that's been my long career as far as like how my campaigns are supported. It's also a career of showing up. And I've not only been doing my job this past year, holding town halls, multiple town halls in the 14th Congressional District. I've been up to Kevin Kiley's district in Folsom twice to hold a town hall because he won't hold a town hall there. I've been to Young Kim's district down in Orange County because she won't hold a town hall there. I've been out to Tampa in Anna Paulina Luna's district to hold a town hall there because she won't hold a town hall there. So I've shown up to make it clear that if they're not going to do their jobs, I'll do it for them. And I have the blessing of my constituents who have told me they understand the most important thing I can do right now for them is to put Democrats in the majority so that we can cut our time in hell by half. By half. So thank you for that, Mark. Shelley, as to your question, I believe we are better than this president, and we are all able, as hard as it seems, as foggy as it seems, as dark as it can seem, we are all able to see through him and beyond him. So we will get through this next year, and we'll get the majority in Congress. I promise, as I said, as governor, to spend 2 years on offense to make sure that I'm protecting and fighting for every California. But I'm running, as I told Sandy earlier, I'm running to write the story of a new California. Because I also believe that at our core, not enough people feel it when you say we're the 4th largest economy in the world. It's just a stat. I want it to mean for you that you have skin in the game, like you have a stake in that. That when you go Christmas shopping right now, you're not worried about how much you can buy for the others in your life or what it's going to look like at the end of the month and whether you're going to be able to stretch and meet your bills. I want anyone, as I said, if you're going to work hard, you do better, dream bigger. Do better, dream bigger. That means being the 4th largest economy in the world means something to you. So on small businesses, for example, with the slowest small business start in any state in the country, we have to do more to start small businesses. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a tax holiday for every new small business in California for 3 years. And the bet I'm going to make on small businesses is this. If you focus in your first 3 years on getting a business plan, getting post-revenue and then post-profit, hiring employees, And also, because there's an explosion of small businesses in our community, increasing what we call business-to-business revenue for the other existing businesses around you. The bet I'm making on Californians and our ingenuity is that we will be perceived as open for business, that will increase jobs and bring down that unemployment rate, that will increase revenue in the state because of the existing businesses who will benefit from more small businesses. And then year 3 and beyond, once we start to collect that tax revenue, you have a much larger tax base that is sustainable so that we can pay for our domestic workers, our in-home house services, pay for our teachers and our police and our firefighters, all of the core foundational parts of a society that you need. So that's my business plan. And that's my belief, as I said, that you can see beyond this president and write a new California story. You want to know, though, in your question, whether the midterms are going to be fair and whether some of the anomalies you pointed out in 2024 are going to exist. The best thing we can do right now in that regard, obviously, is to be in the majority, have the subpoena power, figure out what the hell was Elon Musk up to. Yes. However, we also have to max out democracy. We can't just be a little bit better than Alabama and Georgia. We have to be the most accessible, the most democratic state in the country. What I will do as governor, because I don't look at these long lines when people are voting and say, that's great for turnout, it's going to be a good day for democracy. I look at that as a deterrent. I think about a mom who has to get her kids home from school, changed, bathed, fed, homework done, ready for bed, and is looking for that 30-minute window where you can go vote. And I see a long line as a deterrent for that mom. So as governor, I'm going to fine every county for every minute over 30 minutes that a person waits in line. And that's going to the voters because your pizza should not come faster than your vote is cast. We have to be better than Alabama and Georgia, not just a little bit better. So we can do a lot to max out democracy. And it's not just California. It's a max out democracy in Illinois, in Maryland, in New York, in Colorado, in the other blue states where we have that opportunity. So, of course, thank you, Shelley. Yes, sir.
My name is Dickie Winkle, and I've been following you for a long time. I used to carry a sword and a shield, but I'm a peaceful warrior now. I have 4 grandkids between the ages of 24 and 28, all successful.
Where do they live?
2 of them live in Clovis. One's an engineer, the other's a biology professor at Clovis Community College. It's her first job. And one is in Folsom. She's a neonatal nurse at UC Davis. And the other's a gate teacher up in Boise. Okay, years ago, when they started voting, I made a deal with them. If all 4 of them took a picture of I voted, I Venmoed all 4 of them. Okay? Well,
Dads and our bribes. I know them well.
The transactional thing works on them. Okay? 4 years ago, my neonatal eldest granddaughter, who was too busy to vote, cost everybody their Venmo. Ever since then, they've done it. Okay, now, so I do what I can do there. Now, here's the reality for me. 4 kids, all smart, nice, productive. They don't know squat about what's going on. What do we do?
I have an answer for that. I'm also the oldest of 4. I don't know if your oldest is like, okay.
My brothers still call me Duke.
Sounds like our family. Go ahead.
Surprise. Hi there, my name is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
And I have followed your career a little bit too, and I find you very credible with a fair amount of integrity. Anyway.
Working on it.
Compared
Yeah.
We see in the
Yeah.
White House.
Yeah.
A lot of Republicans.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a federal question because to me, your success as a governor is going to depend a lot on how the federal government changes in the next year and during your term. I know that you have previously said that you've heard from a lot of Republican congressmen that they're going to be retiring. I'm curious where you heard that, the men's room? Did they come to you?
Yeah.
Did they text you? And second, when that occurs and they do resign, will those positions be filled by special elections or appointed by their governors? And do we have a chance of increasing the Democrats in Congress so maybe we can make some movement over the next year? Before you're governor.
Yeah. So midterms are everything. Everything. And we have the opportunity in California to deliver at least 5 new seats because of the work you all have done in Prop 50. So again, thank you for that. I'm the son of 2 Republicans, so I speak their language. My wife grew up in southern Indiana. Her mom, until she retired last year, was Mike Pence's dentist. I know these folks. And yes, there is a congressional gym. It's one of my favorite places in the building. It's like 3 floors below the Capitol, no phones, like no pictures, no staff are allowed. And this is where you see people at their most real. And most often you see in them why they went into public service. And yes, Jim Jordan is always on the elliptical next to my treadmill. It gets weird. There's 3 televisions. There's MSNBC, there's CNN, and usually ESPN is like the neutral international waters safe TV station that we watch. And what these folks have told me over the years, but most recently, is how scared they are of speaking out. I remember last year at this time, there was a budget deal to continue government funding and to get us, over the next 6 weeks, the certainty you needed so that federal workers could be paid and the programs that, feed the hungriest and help the neediest are in place. And while I was in the gym, there were 2 other Republicans with me, and across CNN and Fox, there was this breaking news alert that Elon Musk had tweeted that Republicans should defeat the deal that Mike Johnson had struck. And the expletives that were coming out of these Republicans' mouths because they felt like this tall and powerless. Because, as one of them said, if you're the tallest poppy in the field, it's easy for them to go after you. And when they go after you with one tweet, one truth post, you get this target on your back where, as one Republican told me, his wife said, don't bring that to us at church and don't bring that on our kids at their school. I get that. I have a lot of arrows that are aimed at me, as you know. But to that I also say, get a different job. Maybe this is not the job for you. And that's what's so frustrating, is that they have not recognized that their strength is in their numbers. Because more and more people across the country are realizing that they can be less and less scared of Donald Trump. Just last week, 2 different grand juries rejected indicting Attorney General Tish James of New York. The Indiana State Senate rejected the rigged districting process that the president had proposed. But you have to do it as a group. Nobody can tell us the name of the senator who torpedoed Attorney General Matt Gaetz, because it was recommended and nominated, and collectively, not as one person, collectively they said, oh no, that's not going to work. So if you band together, you are so much stronger collectively. They just haven't figured that out yet. So the margins are so thin today that yes, of course, Speaker Hakeem Jeffries could happen tomorrow morning. They're so thin. But winning the midterms gives us that ability to have subpoena power, to bring accountability, to hold the hearings and the oversight that's not being done, to propose a budget where we can actually try and claw back so much that they've taken that has affected Californians on Medi-Cal and rural hospitals that are being closed in our area. So yes, midterms are everything. For your daughters, we have to bring and fund civics at every classroom in America and before high school, much earlier. Much earlier, because it's either they're going to learn it on TikTok or they're going to learn it early. And again, high school is too late. It's too late.
Yes, absolutely.
I really believe it should start to be taught at the later ages of elementary school and throughout middle school. That's how you get, young people to engage. I also, would fund, a service corps in the state so that you make better citizens that can contribute to job training, particularly the jobs that are going to be of the future of California, because when people have an experience like that, they experience and form a bond with their fellow coworkers, and they understand that the work they're doing is for a greater good, and I just think they're better neighbors and better citizens when they go into our community. Isaac. Did I lose my man, Isaac?
I am right.
Okay.
We got one over there,
okay.
And then I got the last two in my hands.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
These numbers are 1535. Ends with 1535, anybody? Get to a mic, and 1524. 1524, where are you located?
You said first.
All right, 1503, where is 1503? 1503 going once, going twice. And we have one more just in case. 1526. We have 1526 anybody. Make your way to the mic. 1524 was what? All right.
And we have one more over here?
We're going to bring them over here.
Okay, great.
Go ahead and ask that question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. Welcome.
Here with my husband, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
And I appreciate you coming to Fresno. It doesn't seem like anybody comes to Fresno.
Yeah.
And the way
they're going to come now. I promise you, they'll come now.
My whole thing with Prop 50 was I hated the way we got divided up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that,
Yeah.
so it's been very, very frustrating. I have so many questions running through, so I'm going to try to streamline it.
Tell me.
I teach physical geography. Adjunct
What grade?
professor.
Oh,
adjunct now.
college.
30 years in junior high. And so some of the things that we are dealing with, so I'm going to take it local. I know all the national stuff that's going on. Sustainability, living in the valley, trying to balance. We have, 50 billion in ag industry, but at the same time, we are growing, we're congested. We have the high-speed rail. We have so many people that commute into Fresno, and I never really realized that until I started teaching online class in Madera. We have had our green initiatives go back, which is very frustrating. We have a all-electric mandate, 2035. We don't have the infrastructure, and we are in trouble as far as budget next year, right? Anywhere between 12 billion and 20 billion. And so with us being this fourth, I know we're the fourth largest GDP, we're in trouble. And so I'm just kind of throwing that out because it's, environment is very important. We have such a wonderful state. So how do we move forward with urban planning especially and try to have more mass transit maybe in the valley, continue with the high-speed rail? I don't know what your opinion is.
Yeah, I've heard loud and clear about the priority of that and have supported that in the Congress. I want to make sure that it stays on a budget that's respectful of the taxpayer dollars that are funding it, and that it goes to communities that it's going to lift up and not take away from. But
well, and I don't think a lot of people realize what high-speed rail will do for our area connected to the Bay Area. And
what it will do for the Bay Area.
I know we're talking about affordability, but maybe that will balance it. Maybe that can help with. But anyway, so
I'm going to address. Okay, I think I'm tracking. Let me take the next one, and I'll be right back at you, Jamie.
My name's Carol.
Hi, Carol.
And I am a retired teacher. I taught for 37 years.
Thank you, Carol, for teaching. Thank you, Jamie, for teaching.
retired as an 18-year-old history teacher, so I ended in a high school career, but I started in junior high, most of the years were junior high. And now I'm an independent educational consultant and help walk kids through the process of what am I to do with my life and how do I get to college for that young age.
Where'd she go? You guys are going to talk at the end of this.
And I came with the same list, the same feeling that she came. I was not born and raised in Fresno. I was born and raised in Salinas, so came from the Salinas
Central
Valley,
Coast,
and had a grandmother who lived in Oakland, so have that connection. But I've lived here the majority of my life now. I moved here when I was 22 years old. And Fresno gets overlooked, Fresno County. And so does Tulare County, and so does Madera County, and so does Mariposa County. And we need people like you. We heard the complaint about Fong. We're no better off with McClintock, for those of us who live in the pocket. So we have no voice. I know Jim Cross is here, but between Fong and McClintock, most of this valley has nothing, no voice, okay, in terms of Congress. And we need you to represent us there too, so when you speak up, no, you're not just representing your district, there's all of these people here. This is a really red area, and I know you know that. And I want to know a couple of different things. I want to piggyback what she was talking about with the high-speed rail. People have lost confidence in this state, and a lot of people in this area are disheartened by that. I want to know what you're going to do to build confidence back up and gain support. I want to know, if you can, talk a little bit about the wildfire mitigation for those of us who own some foothill property. And what are we doing about water? I feel like what we need in a governor is, not that Newsom doesn't do this, but we need somebody to really grab hold of the issues here in the Central Valley. They are different than the coast. We're not completely different, and you have a lot of Democrats here, but it's hard because we don't necessarily feel like we have the same voice, am I right? As other places in the state. And we got different kind of issues here in the Valley than we have in other places. So I also would like to know what you're going to do to address poverty and homelessness in this part of the state. We have friends in LA, we have friends in the Bay Area, we get that, but we have homelessness here, and we have poverty here. So, and it's different a little bit here because of what's making them. And then I think the other thing is, I want to know what you're going to do to build support on the other side of the aisle. Because we want you to win, and the only way to have that happen is you build people, you pull people in that are disenfranchised from, thank God, the MAG movement, but they don't feel like they can't be Republican. What can you do? That's a rambling thing. Sorry.
Well, 25 years ago, my AP teachers made me nervous, and AP teachers still make me nervous today. I just want you told me your story. I want to tell you how a teacher changed my life first. I hope you understand it's why I value teachers as the most important people in our community. And I say that as a father of an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Tim Sobrante, Mr. Sobrante, was my economics teacher. He was my journalism teacher. He was my mock trial coach, the tennis coach, and worked on the school newspaper. You know this story. And so when I went to college on a soccer scholarship, I was injured at the end of my sophomore year. And I thought the world was over. And Mr. Sobrante called me. He had heard about the injury, and he told me that the world was not over. He knew I enjoyed, outside of sports, some of these other extracurricular activities related to public service. And he said, what if I got you an interview with your local member of Congress to intern on Capitol Hill while you rehab the injury? I didn't know if I was a Republican or a Democrat as a teenager in college, or 19 going on 20 in college. I knew my parents were Republicans, so that meant I must be a Democrat just to stick it to them. But I took the interview, I got the job, I went to Capitol Hill. It was the summer of 2001, it changed my life. I knew what I wanted to do from that point forward. And then when I finished college and law school, Tim, Mr. Sobrante, reached out to me and said, it's time to come home from the East Coast. Your city needs you. He was on the city council of Dublin, where I grew up. And I came home and I worked with him, and the city was in Renaissance. I'll tell you about that in a moment. And he's been with me my whole life. He later would become our district director, the political chair of the California Teachers Association. But he made a real impact on me. And to the example I gave you earlier, he was the mentor that I reached up to, and the reason that I reach down as often as I can. And I don't want people like Tim or people like you or people like Jamie to have to worry about, can you teach near where you live? Or how deep do you have to dig into your own pocket to pay for the resources in your classroom, which is what teachers are doing today. And that's why in Congress, they do. They reach into their own pocket to pay for our kids because we don't have the funding as a state to do it. And that's why in Congress, I wrote legislation to make it tax deductible when you do that and to increase the amount that it's tax deductible. I wrote legislation to give teachers a $25,000 down payment assistance so they could live in the communities where they serve. That's going to be my approach as governor, is to elevate our teachers as the most important people in the community, but also to recognize that this economy is accelerating and it's changing, and the skills that we need our teachers to have today are also evolving. And I am so terrified that a Fresno kid is not going to have the same education as a Beverly Hills kid, because the Beverly Hills kid will have a teacher who's learned coding and artificial intelligence, and maybe a Fresno kid or Hayward in my district, which is similar, would not. And then you have two different generations, or two different classes of kids, one that can compete in this new AI economy because they have the resources in their classroom, and one that cannot. We need every California child to be ready for this new economy. So that means having high expectations of those who make the economy, right? If you're going to come here and your company is going to succeed here and you're going to benefit from that success, you have to have skin in the game in our children's success and their opportunity. And that's how I'm going to devise a tax code that brings in revenue to prepare the next generation, is to say we all do better. That pie is bigger. We don't argue about the size of the slice as much when we grow it. So that to me is how you pay for educating our kids, paying our teachers, keeping them close to where they teach. As it relates, as you said, to high-speed rail, I know that infrastructure can turn around the fortune of a city. And I just want to briefly tell you the story of Dublin. It was called Scrublin when I was growing up. Low income, low expectations. Kids weren't exactly going to college. And when I came back home, carrying that chip on my shoulder, Mr. Sobrani said, it's time to come home. And we were in Renaissance. And we brought in builders, developers, the building trades, and we built out the city with market and affordable housing. We doubled the size of the city. We expected the developers to provide new schools, new ballparks, new fire stations, new senior centers, new libraries. And the high school that I graduated from, where only 25% of us went on to college, today, 96% go to college. They don't call us Scrublin anymore. We even have a Whole Foods that I still can't afford to shop at. I don't think anyone can. But that's a sign that you made it. And that's my plan for governor, is to take us from Scrublin to Dublin, any opportunity that we have. So yes, if that means connecting the disconnected through infrastructure, high-speed rail, the energy opportunities that we have, the expectations of AI companies that if you're going to benefit here, you have to be a part of solving the problem of the energy drain that's happening here. That's my approach on all of this. I'm happy. What's your last name?
My last name is Smoot.
Smoot. I'm happy, Miss Smoot, to talk to you after class more about my plan. And Jamie, I think I answered your question a little bit.
I grew up in Salinas too.
Jamie grew up in Salinas as well.
I went to San Lucia, then Camden Elementary. And I was at Washington Junior High, and I graduated from North Salinas High School.
All right, we were out in Castroville.
Okay.
So
Thank you both. All right, I think, is this our last question here? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Quick questions. My entire career was working with special needs students. And I learned now that the federal funding and the Department of Education is basically disbanded. will California be able to care for those students?
Yes, and we're not doing a great job before it was disbanded, if we're being honest
Yes.
with each other.
Yes.
So, yes, and again, I also recognize, as far as who the caretakers and providers are, teachers, police, fire, nurses, doctors, paramedics is the most important, the people that you have to fund. I also know that the most vulnerable who depend on those services are the last people who you can cut. And so that's why last week in Anaheim, I spent a day with a woman named Cynthia, who is an in-home service provider for her blind daughter and her mentally disabled sister, who presents her own challenges that are 24 hours a day. And this woman, Cynthia, is working 18 hours a day, sleeping on a couch so that she can watch her sister and make sure she doesn't leave the house unsupervised. This woman makes less than a fast food worker, and that doesn't mean a fast food worker doesn't work hard, but this woman is doing really hard work, and the people she's caring for would be on the streets or in a facility, if we even had facilities that could take care of them. So it's an investment that provides the dignity and the care that these people are worthy of. But as you said, it's not enough. These attacks, though, are why I'm running for governor, because in the next 2 years, as I said, you have to triage what the president has done and get inventive with the way that you find the resources in the near term, and still not get so demoralized by that you can't see the long term and how we get out of it. I'll tell you one other area that's been cut that is personal to me is cancer funding. 40% cut to the National Institutes of Health is what this president wants to do. University of California, San Francisco, UCLA, UCSD, we've got UC Merced, we've got so many resources in this state that work on bringing us hope. I lost my mom a couple months ago to cancer, and she received most of her care until the very end in California. And she had the hope and also the belief that her elected officials were doing everything possible, if they couldn't find a cure for her, at least to find a cure for someone like her in the future. And to me, your budget is not just a moral document, it's an IQ test. And it has to be the dumbest thing in the world to pull funding from research that affects 40% of us. 40% of us will get a diagnosis in our lifetime of cancer. So if it doesn't happen to you, it will happen to someone you know. So why would you cut that budget by 40%? I mean, how cruel that the number matches the number of us will be affected. And so I take this personally that he has done this, and that's why, as I said, you have to have that fight in you to defend against future cuts, that creativity and imagination to go find funding so that we're a state that cares and also a state that cures. Because right now is not a time to be killing cancer research. It's a time to be killing cancer. Yep. And I have the optimism to see beyond the sky. You do too. I know you do. That's what fires me up. You've gone to the marches. You've gone to the No Kings rally. You voted in Prop 50. You showed up here tonight. We are bigger and better than this guy. We'll get through the next 2 years and we'll get beyond. Okay, Isaac.
I got word that somebody came down from the North Pole.
Oh, here we go.
And one final question for you is that. Oh,
bring it, bring it. Well, Santa's here. Santa, I have to say, you have a list. It's not the same list as the president's best pal, but you have your own naughty or nice list?
He's also on the naughty list.
He's also on the naughty list. Okay, for the good people of Fresno, tell us who's been especially naughty this year.
Oh. I've made my list, and I've checked it twice. Let's find out who's been naughty and who's been nice. And wouldn't you know it, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, all on the naughty list. And wait a second, who's that also on the naughty list? The California Republican U.S. House delegation that voted for Trump's big, ugly bill to cut Medicaid and give tax cuts to billionaires. Seeing to it that they get cool in their stock market. And that they'll also lose the midterms next year.
Thank you, Santa. Do you have a question, Santa?
I actually do. My question.
Do you need your elves? Yeah. Go ahead.
There's an honorary elf right there.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
I got that part.
Are we ready to win the 2026 midterm?
Yes, we are. All right, you're all on the nice list. Thank you, Santa. I know you're going to be sticking around, and I think we've got some kids here as well. It would be my honor, having been in this fight, being a protector, with a cop as a dad, other brothers who have walked the beat in my own work in some of the toughest communities in our state, to go on offense for you in the next 2 years as your governor. To tell the president if he wants to come for our hardworking friends and neighbors who work in our fields, he's got to go through me. If he wants to put troops in his streets, he's got to go through me. If he wants to pull cancer funding or money for those with disabilities, he's got to go through me. And if he doesn't think that is a deterrent, I can tell him I'm strong because I've got you. That's our strength. Our strength in numbers and our belief that we have the imagination, we have the story of success in California to also write that new California story. And that story is going to look like this. When you hear in the future, and hold me accountable on this every single day, and ask me this the next time you see this when I'm governor. When you hear in the future that we're the 4th largest economy in the world, I want you to ask yourself, as governor, did that mean something for me? And if I get it right, it will mean something for all of us. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Fresno. Thank you to our leaders. Thank you, thank you, thank you.